Skyping Moira, and she's on his desktop, and apparently 2 or 3 times I walked by the computer and it was just his background wallpaper, and I'd say, "Hey Moira, how are you doing?" And he never told me. She just hated me. She just stood there with this blank. I don't know what they were doing on Skype, but that wasn't involved. But it was so wonderful to get the chance to meet her, and he's always been incredibly picky with girls. We've all had our concerns, our doubts from time to time, but there's been years of a long ride between watering holes, if you're on the range, if you will, which is so when he met Moira, when I met Moira, I knew, thank goodness that his patience paid off, because she walked up the street, and not only are you incredibly, stunningly beautiful, but she's planning a wedding, she's working at a tea room, and all she was worried about was my comfort. She was asking, "What can we do for you?" and this, and she was so industrious, she was so organized, Esteban, and luckily, Eric, she was in a very, very good mood. And he, thank goodness you didn't settle for something that wasn't up to what your standard of a wife was, because you really got a blue ribbon here, and I'm so excited about that, and I'm so proud of you today. And Glasgow was great. The boys, all the guys on the bachelor party that took care of me, great. Jamie, thank you for getting me home. And I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Malcolm, and I don't know where he is, and Eric and Rebecca. Sorry, I was looking at Rebecca saying Eric. And all the family, the bridesmaids, Kate, Ellen, and Amy. I know you guys have worked so hard to get us to such a beautiful and spectacular place, because you don't understand the way we grew up. We grew up in a beautiful place, but it's just stark and different. And I was telling Freddie, I said, man, can you imagine when growing up in Pecos that your son would be married in a place like this? And so thank you for picking this location, get us here. It's just been spectacular. And this is my segue to parents. Freddie and Isa have been, and I think I speak for Manav and Carlos and Michael and Paulie probably. Gracias por todo. I mean, I don't know what to say. They're going to give you the ultimate example of what a beautiful, loving marriage can be. And I remember when we were, Freddie and Easton and I, my wife Marcy, she's not here unfortunately, we vacation together all the time. But we did one time. We were on the streets in Guanajuato, Mexico, and a beautiful woman walked by, and I said, "Freddie, that woman's beautiful." And he told me, he said, "Well, I don't look at other women." And I was like, "You gotta be kidding, and I could tell on the look in his eyes that he was serious. And I think 30 years from now, Esteban might say the same thing to somebody, and I think it's because of what his parents have shown him. So that gets me to Esteban. That's really why I'm here. He asked me to talk about his calves. I got an email 6 months ago. He said, "I'd like you to speak, but could you please speak about my calves?" And it's really incredible that his calves fit in the suit. That's why I think he was destined to marry a Scottish woman, because the next wedding you attend or event, you can pull your socks up and just show your incredible calves to the world. And that's all you've ever wanted to do. And so I'm sure that make Moira all the more attractive. So Eric, Rebecca, please we would like to have the Mexican flag, kilt, red, white and green with the eagle with the rattlesnake in its mouth, right down the middle, and let him show his calves.
Let's get a look-see.
Exactly. Esteban and I, we actually went to pre-K together, but we bonded, I guess, on a Boy Scout trip. And it's funny, all these things keep being brought up that I hear about, that people are saying. I was like, and I want to go, that's in my speech. That's in my speech. Quit saying it. And so there was a Boy Scout trip, and I remember I had wet my bed, my sleeping bag that night, and I was just so nervous and worried that someone's going to find out. And so I was looking for a kind soul to sit next to on the bus on the way back. And when Esteban tells a story, he says, "Oh, don't sit next to me, don't sit next to me." And I sat next to him, and I started talking to him, and just right off the bat, what he does is he makes you feel cool, he makes you feel special, he just is completely engaged with everything you're saying, and that's what Esteban does. That's what he gives everyone. And if you'll notice, people around him are very successful. And I think that he's a big part of that, because he builds so much confidence in yourself, and he's able to make you feel so good about any bad situation that you may be going through, that it's okay. And Moira, I think that's what he's going to give you, and I'm so happy that you were able to experience this, because we're all a little worried that we're not going to be able to call him as much. Esteban, you guys call him Esteban, I call him Steve. But we wish you all the very best, and I'm not going to say cheers, but I'd like us all to give a good old Texas whoop to Esteban and Moira's wedding.